Welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm Christine, your host, and today my guest is Tomeka. She is a transformational life coach, a speaker, and an author, and she's going to tell us her story. So, Tomeka, take it away. Tell us all that you do and how your journey has been.
Thank you for having me, Christine. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Like she said, Tomeka Jones. I'm a transformational life coach. I'm an author. I'm a nurse. I'm a speaker. And most importantly, I'm a life coach here to empower women. So my journey, Christine, actually started when I retired from the military. I served in the Air Force for 23 years and I just retired in 2022. So
Okay.
after I retired for a week or two, I just felt so unbalanced. I felt so, what do I do now? I was trying to figure life out and it hit me. Okay, Tomeka, what is your purpose? What is your passion? What do you enjoy doing? So came to the realization that I didn't know. I'm like, oh my goodness. And that came about, actually, let me rewind back a little bit. I was doing an internship with a nonprofit organization called Grace After Fire. And the CEO asked me to meet her, see if I was a good fit for the organization to do the internship and to work with the organization. So when I met her, that was the question. The question that she asked me was, Tomeka, who are you? And that hit me like a ton of bricks. So it started there. And I started crying and all the things because I was giving her all these things that was external. Oh, I'm a nurse. Oh, I'm a veteran. Oh, I'm all these things, but it didn't define who is Tomeka without the name, without everything. Who
So you
are
did
you?
more like a resume instead of who you are inside.
Yes. And I didn't know who I was on the inside. And a lot of us don't know. We spend
Yeah.
20, 30, 40 years in life not knowing who we are or our passions. That's when it began. I went on a self-love journey. I hired a life coach. I kept my therapist as well because I'm a firm believer. Your therapist helps you with your past and all the things, and your life coach walks with you in your future. And that's what I had a life coach to do that. And that's when I decided, oh, I want to do this. I want to become a life coach and help women, empower women.
When did you actually start life coaching?
I would say around about a year ago is when I started, and I love it.
It's
I
super
finally found my
rewarding, right?
purpose. Yes, I love it. Finally found my purpose, empowering women to live abundant life that they desire and deserve. For me, I struggle with all my flaws, hence the word flawless, right?
All of us
Which
do.
is
All of us.
which is my brand. It's called Flawless Life Coaching, Flawless Fashion Co Apparel, Women
Yeah, I
Empowerment
love it.
Apparel.
I love the shirt. I have to get one. So you have to give
Yes,
me the
yes.
link.
I will send you one. Yes, yes. I struggle with all my flaws. I struggle with not being smart enough, not being beautiful enough. I struggle with my birthmark. It's the darker pigmentation on my neck, back, shoulder, arm. And I've never worn a swimsuit in public or a tank top or anything like that.
Oh, girl, that's just a crime.
I
Who
know,
cares?
I know,
It's
I
it's
know.
it's a
Especially for
battle
myself.
wound.
And it's hot. So yeah, I said, okay, enough is enough. I have to be who God called me to be, right? I have to walk in
Amen.
my truth and be my best authentic self. However that looks for me, that's what I need to do. So when I start showing up for self, I'm like, okay, I can show up for other women, right? Because other women probably are going through the same things that I've gone through.
Yeah.
So that's when the journey began.
I love it.
Yes.
It's funny. I'm doing this thing right now called Find Your Story. And every day there is a dare to talk about your life.
Mm,
Woo! Just reading, we have to post a video about it.
yes.
And holy cow, it's deep. And so many of us suppress all the stuff we've
Yeah.
been through, but
Yeah.
we can't until we release it.
Yeah.
We can't really walk into our power. So it's been really, really eye-opening. And
Yeah.
and I love that you said you struggle with not being enough and everything. And honestly, I'm 57 years old, and I probably for the first time I'm feeling rather confident because I did all that work. I've worked with
Yes.
life coaches, I've worked with therapists, I've done the work. And if you're struggling, the fastest way to get through it is to get help from someone who knows what the journey is. So the fact that you went on that journey makes you even a better coach, right?
Yes. Yes.
You come from a place of personal knowledge. And that I think makes you a heart-centered coach because we can empathize with the people that are coming to us for help because we've been there.
Yeah.
When I started my health coaching, I really understood where people were that needed to lose a lot of weight. because I had been there and I knew the mindset of I'll start on Monday. I'll do it on Monday. Okay, maybe next week, maybe, or I'd start doing well and then I would fall off and then I would beat myself up. And so
Mm,
having a coach to wrangle us up and put their arms around us and say, it's okay, let's start
right.
again, let's do it together is
Yes,
amazing. And I'm
it
sure you
is.
have lots of stories
Yes.
about the people that you work with and their journeys and how much faster they can go with your help.
Yes. And like you said, you hit the nail on the head about we all have different struggles. It may be confidence, it may be setting healthy boundaries, it may be
Oh,
loving
that
yourself.
boundaries. That boundaries gets me every time.
Yeah,
I can't
and
say
you know what I say for that? And I had a client who struggled with setting healthy boundaries, work, relationship, spouse, all the things. I told her that no is a complete sentence.
I need that. I need to be able to do better.
No is, and you don't have to explain it. You don't have to justify it. No, and walk away. And it's okay. It's okay
Yeah,
because
it's hard.
we pour so much into other people and other things that we get depleted and it manifests in all areas in our lives. We wonder why this is happening. We wonder, it's because we're empty. We're coming from an empty vessel, right?
Absolutely. And I come from a long line of people pleasers. Like my mother's whole side of the family are all yes women. And so
Yes.
I've had to really reprogram my brain that it is okay to say no sometimes. But I
Yes.
always go on this long explanation,
Nope.
like why it can't happen. And I talk myself into doing it. I'm like, hey, I said no. I said no.
No is a complete sentence. You can say no and
All right.
walk away and still
I'm
love
going to
them.
remind myself of that. Thank you for that.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Do you mostly work one-on-one with ladies or do you do group coaching too?
101 is what I do in my programs just because it's so personalized and I want to dig a little deeper, right? So 101 is what I mainly do, but I do have quarterly workshops that I do quarterly where it's group coaching as well.
Now, is
So
that in person or online?
that's webinars. Yep, online.
Okay. Love
Yeah.
it. I love
Yeah.
it. You better make sure you give me all that information so I can share it with
Yes.
our audience because I know when I was at a low point and I needed help,
Mhm.
couldn't find people to help me. When I didn't know what kind of coach I needed or whether I need a therapist or what
Right.
got me out of that funk. And that was all during perimenopause. And unfortunately, perimenopause hit the same time as COVID. And I was
Oh,
in an 800 square foot apartment. We had just sold our
oh,
house and we couldn't buy a house because no one could show houses. So it all went boom.
that's a lot, Christine. That's a lot.
It was a lot. And finally, I found from a doctor that my hormones were like all over the place. And that
Hmm.
helped. When you're in that struggle, it's hard to reach out to somebody. So if you can provide the information how to get a hold of you, it's like a win for everybody.
Yes, definitely. And I'll do that too. After and I'll provide all the information.
Yeah,
But
that would be
you
great.
are so right. And you speak about health and wellness. I think that's so important to self-love because
Yeah.
my pillars, if I hadn't already said it, my pillars are flawless. It's confidence, self-love, and resilience, right? It's not what society says it is. Oh, you have to be aesthetically beautiful, the J-Lo's, the Beyoncé's, the Celine Dion's. No, it's walking in your truth, being the best version of yourself and loving who you are on the inside, right? Who
It's
you are on
so
the inside.
important. It is so important.
Yeah.
I used to be that gal that hated exercise because I really didn't like my body and I really felt like it was a punishment. And it wasn't until I got older that I found, you know what? I like this feeling. And then I became an exercise instructor. But getting up there for that first time was
Yes.
holy cow, nerve-wracking. Thankfully, I had a manager at the time at the Y who was like, today's the day you're going to get up there and do it. I was like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what you do. Get up, go. I hadn't
Go
had any
do it.
training, nothing. I was like, oh, okay. But you know what? I needed that shove. I needed that somebody else to tell me, go. And
Mhm.
I think that's what you do for your clients. You
Yeah.
tell them it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. Just go. Just
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
And
Just do it scared. Do it scared. I
that's
know
yes,
many years I struggled with public speaking and I still struggle.
me
That's
too.
why I know I'm on the right path and I'm living out my purpose and passion in life because if it was Tomeka, I would take a back seat and never have to public speak ever again in my life. Hence why I actually did apparel first because I was scared. I'm like, oh, I could tell my story through my apparel. And then a year later, the universe, God, source, said, no, I want you to tell your story. Yeah, you're
Right.
sharing it through your apparel, but I need you to just share your story and the empower other women that has gone through, that has lost a child, that has been through divorce, that had insecurities, that low self-esteem, that who just lack all the things, right? Didn't have a father to show you love. Your purpose is to speak to those women and help those women get through whatever it is that they're going through,
I
right?
am with you on that. I think I was similar to that. I knew I had a mission. I knew God wanted me to do something, but I was resistant. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay. And the weirdest thing happened. I decided to sign up for a podcasting class because I was interested in it. But it was like 6 weeks long and it wasn't going well. And I was like, maybe this isn't what God had meant. Then I got an email about starting a podcast in 90 minutes. And I was like, well, I could probably do 90 minutes. So I get on this call with this woman. I had no idea who she was. And we set up my podcast. And it turns out she's part of this humongous movement called Do the Thing. And as soon as I did that, she's like, you got to join us. And it changed my life.
Wow.
You just never know what those little God whispers mean. Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and so if somebody feels moved by what you're saying and they can connect with that, I really want to encourage you, reach out to Tomeka because
Yes.
it could be life
Yes.
changing. And we hold ourselves back,
Yeah.
but we don't have to. We can make the choice to move forward. And I love what you said. I love the fact that you don't actually want to be out there, but you feel called to be out there because I think that
Yes.
makes us better.
Yeah. Do it scared. Do it scared. Just do
Yeah.
it. Just do it scared.
Yeah.
A few months ago, I was on NBC in Fresno, California, and I did it scared. I was terrified to do the interview. I was terrified, but I did it scared. And that's where I want women to be. You're scared of this, to take this new position. You want this new position. You know that you're led for this new position. You are the leader to take on this new position, but you're scared. Do it anyway.
And
Do it
I
anyway.
assume
Apply
that's
for
what
it anyway.
happened. I'm sorry. I'm assuming that's what happened when you joined the Air Force. That had to be a big step. Like I would be petrified.
Yes. Yes, it was something totally different. And it was meant for me to go in Air Force because when I went to MEPS is where you go and do the evaluations, the weight checks, the height checks, all the things. I stepped on the scale and it's so funny. I remember it to this day. The nurse told me, she said, oh, baby, if you fart, you'll be overweight. Oh, so I guess I'll suck it in. Yeah. So it was meant to be, right? And that was back in 99. That was back
That's
in 99
amazing.
when I joined the military.
Thank you for your
And
service. That's
yeah,
amazing.
thank you for your support.
For
And
sure.
even with that, there was ups and downs in the military. And just like with anybody else story, same, the good, the bad, the indifferent, but we persevered, we got through it. And the main focus was the mission. And when we accomplished that,
But
you
you're
know.
such a strong lady. And that I think is is what makes me have confidence in what you do because it takes a
Yes.
lot. It takes a lot to
Yes.
get through all that.
Yes.
And you had mentioned the loss of a child or something. And I had my first child died at birth. And it was also life changing
Yeah.
because you're so excited for this child to come into the world. And I remember I was sitting at my desk at work and I had some cramping and the lady next to me had just had a baby. She said, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I just feeling, crampy or whatever. And a few minutes later, she said, you still feeling it? I'm like, yeah. She said, I think you need to call your doctor. I'm like,
Wow.
okay. Good thing I called the doctor because by the time I got there, it was 5 centimeters dilated
Mm.
and she was born prematurely and she didn't make it. But that for me, again, I had to go through the whole therapy and figure out, okay, I was so excited for this child. And then that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Pregnant again, 3rd month, I had a miscarriage. And the
Mm.
doctors kept saying, you're young, you can try again. But that was not comforting. I don't want this to keep happening. And finally, I got pregnant with my daughter and she was born. And then they said, you're not going to be able to have any children for a long time because you have a lot of scar tissue. And my son came 15 months later. So I always say, God really has a sense of humor. Yeah, I guess why I'm telling you the story is like we all have adversity to overcome. But had it not been for the coaches that I had, the therapists that I
Yes.
had, I would be stuck in this endless loop.
Yes. Definitely.
What's
And
the what's the best way to get a hold of you? If somebody wants to work with you, do they email you, call you? What's the best way?
email me. That's the best way. Flawless Life Coaching. You can email me and we can set up a discovery call. It's a free discovery call.
And is Flawless
And
Life Coaching at Gmail?
At Gmail. I'm sorry. Yep. At gmail.com. Yep. Flawless Life Coaching at gmail.com. And you
I'll
can
put the
follow
link.
me on all social media handles. Everything is Flawless Life Coaching because we strive to be flawless women because that's who we are. Flawless women, confident, resilient, and self-love. And that's key. Self-love is key to all things, right? Even what we talked about fitness and wellness, right? Choosing the foods that we eat and from working out and all the things, that's all part of self-love, right? Because we're taking care of ourselves. So if we
Yeah.
don't take care of ourselves, who else is gonna take care of us?
Yeah, it's really hard to take care of somebody else if you're not feeling great about yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's just more beating yourself up.
Yep. Yep.
And how
It's
long is
amazing.
the program that you do? Is it tailored per person or is it a set time?
So my Limitless Queen program is an 8-week program, and each
Love the
week
name.
we meet, and each week is a different lesson that we learn about, and we tapping into who are you. That's the first chapter, and then we build on that. And I do have just regular coaching sessions. If you just want to call, you don't want to be in a specific program, you can just call and we can go from there. Whatever need that you have,
Oh, that's
I
great.
can meet you where you at, and then I also have courses, little mini courses on my website as well. My
Oh,
website is
definitely.
Flawless Life Coaching as well. So all things.
Yes. Send me all the mini course information
Okay.
because in my newsletter, I'm doing a whole mini course section of all the people that I work with and all their mini courses. So
That's so amazing.
me. I call myself a people connector because I
Yeah.
love to connect people from people that have a need and people that do the thing. And yeah,
Yes. Yes. And I specialize in women, veterans, single moms, nurses, and aspiring entrepreneurs. So I've been all of them things. I'm all of those things. So those women, those are near and dear to my heart. But anyone who struggle with confidence or self-love or resilience or just, you lost your job and you're trying to find your way. You just got a divorce, you're trying to find your way. You just lost a child, you're trying to find your way. You just feeling so unworthy because you was in a toxic relationship and you're trying to find your way. So all of these pain points, I can help you.
you're
I'm
speaking to
here
my
for you.
people.
Yes, I'm here for you. Yes. And I mean it, like it's my passion. And I know it's because I just get so excited and wrapped up about it. And I just love helping women. Hence why I joined the Air Force. Hence why I'm a nurse. Hence now why I'm a life coach. Service is in my DNA. Came to that
Same.
realization. It's in
I,
yours
I
as well.
I totally get that. I
Yeah.
totally get that. Somebody asked me, why do you feel the need to serve? It's a tough question. But I think for me, it's because I'm a Christian and that's that's what we're called to do. And that God whisper just keeps coming back.
Yeah.
So it's a thing. It's
Yeah.
in your heart. So
Yes. It's in your DNA.
and
Yes.
I love how heart-centered you are. And I
Yes.
can't wait for people to hear your message. And
Yeah.
I pray that they need help, that they'll come to you and get that help. And thank you so much for sharing today and for letting everybody know what you do,
Yes.
bit about your story. It's been wonderful.
Yes. Thank you so much, Christine, for having me as well. And I just want to leave you listeners for just one takeaway. And I'm an affirmation queen. Affirmation I want to leave with you. And I say this every time I'm going through any contrast, anything negative or anything that I'm going through in life, I say it and I say it over and over. Or just throughout my day, I say it as well. Everything is working out for my greater good, no matter how it looks. Say it again. Everything is working out for my greater good, no matter how it looks.
I
Say it
love
one
it.
more time. Everything is working out for your greater good, no matter how it looks. Okay, so write that down and you just say it and you affirm it. And not only just when you saying it, just believe it and feel it, right? Just feel it. And the energy from that will manifest itself because you not only believe in it, you're feeling it.
I love it. I love it. What a great affirmation.
Yes.
Before I let you go, I have one more quick question. Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I have a YouTube channel and I'm slowly getting that up and running, but I do. I do.
Fabulous. I'll share some of those too. I'm like the share queen. I like to sprinkle stuff around. So
I love it. I love it.
I so appreciate you coming on today. And maybe we can catch up again in a couple months and just see how things are going. I love my follow-up interviews too, because I like to see who's coming your way. But at any rate, I wish you a very blessed day. And to our listeners, thank you so much for hanging with us. And if you've liked this episode, please make sure that you like the video and that you make sure that you subscribe. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments and we'll make sure to circle back with y'all. And make sure you work with Tomeka. All right, my friends, have a blessed day.